Now, the man accused of killing 10 people in a racially motivated shooting at a Buffalo grocery store in May pleaded guilty today to all charges. 19-year-old Peyton Gendron had been indicted on 25 counts, including domestic terrorism and murder as a hate crime. Today's plea will guarantee that he will spend the rest of his life in prison, and investigators have said that Gendron, who is white, was specifically targeting black people when he opened fire at the Tops Friendly Market store on May 14th. Now, the CBC's Makta Gabriselese has been watching the latest from Washington. Hey, Makta, we're just hearing from victims' families. What are they saying?
Yeah, well, they were in the courtroom this morning as the details of what happened that day were laid out. And some of those details they had never heard before, including how many times their family members were shot. So what we heard is that there were tears, there was anger in that courtroom, there's frustration, and this is all coming as the family members were getting this information in that courtroom as Peyton Gendron pleaded guilty to all of those charges, including the domestic terrorism charge, having this crime based on hate. We heard that he had a manifesto, that he planned this out, that he essentially kind of rehearsed it, that he was out to kill black people, that he was and is that he was a white supremacist. And so all of these details were being laid out as he pleaded guilty to the charges. And what we heard from some of the family members was that he didn't show any remorse today, that he was like a robot in that courtroom. And so you can understand a lot of their frustration coming out of this as there were 10 people killed in this shooting. And one of the victims was Mark Talley's mother, Geraldine. Take a listen to what he said, the anger that he had around how this shooter was treated that day and throughout the legal process.
I was angry that they didn't have him look at the faces of the family's victims that he ruined and scarred for life. I hate how when people refer to him, they call him a little boy or a young man. Last time I looked, in America, 18-year-old, you're an adult. Because I know if the roles were reversed, let alone me committing an act of terrorism, let me just punch the first white person I see on the street. I highly doubt the judge would be calling me a young man.
You can hear the frustration in his voice. We heard that from a number of the family members who questioned the fact that Gendron survived that day and was taken into custody and made it through the legal process, treated in a way that many of them said, a black person would not have been treated that way. So frustration there, but also some relief that he's going to get life without parole. But the fact, as we even heard from the prosecution, that the evidence was so overwhelming that was going to be the likely outcome, whether he pleaded guilty or not. But as we know now, he has pleaded guilty.
And Makta, what are we hearing from the defendant's lawyers on all this?
Well, we briefly heard from his lawyer, Brian Parker, this morning. He didn't take any questions, made a brief statement saying that his client pleaded guilty. This brings the state case to an end. Here's more from him.
His actions today ensure that there will be no state court trial, and he will not appeal. This critical step represents a condemnation of the racist ideology that fueled his horrific actions on May 14th.
So there still needs to be a sentencing hearing, but again, we know what he is going to get, life without parole, but it doesn't stop things here. There's also a federal hate crime charges trial that he has to face as well, so there's more to come.
Okay, Makta, thank you. The CBC's Makta Gabriselese in Washington.